You recording this? Okay. And let's see. Oh, wait, here we got somebody. T. Richards. Okay. Hey there. Welcome. Looks like he's connecting his audio right now. Okay. What time is it? Let's see.
7:04.
7:04. All right. So we can give a couple of more minutes. Let a few more people. Have time to show up. I know that there'll be some more people who are going to be coming along. Knock wood. As we move ahead. But while we're waiting, I'll just go ahead and I'll do the co-op stuff real quick at the beginning. For anybody who is not yet aware, we're the Northern Virginia Motion Picture Co-op. We are a group of artists, technicians, writers, directors, actors who come together to try and create narrative short films, help each other out on various projects. It's mostly a volunteer organization. And it's all about getting the right people with the right resources to connect with one another to get more projects done. Obviously, this year has been not good for that. We were supposed to be shooting something in June, which obviously didn't happen. I have been looking at best practices for doing productions again. At the moment, I think things are going to remain on hold. I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure that we're going to be able to do another shoot before the end of the year. I'm sort of like keeping an eye on things. I was thinking that we might be able to do something maybe at the end of the summer. The numbers for COVID are ticking up again right now as things are starting to open up again, so that makes me leery because, again, these are all volunteer projects. These aren't commercial projects that we do, so I'm very wary of asking people to volunteer their time in a situation that that could be detrimental to anybody's health. So the safest thing is to sort of like keep things closed right now, and also see if we can find some other creative ways to do things at a distance. I'm working on a couple of things right now in terms of that, but I haven't got anything firm up enough to announce yet. This is our third of our online meetings. So our last live meeting was back in March. The last couple of meetings we did one, which was kind of like a behind the scenes and a watch party for a film that I made several years ago called Subtle Poisons, and the one we did last month was about the Firebird Project, which is something that is still ongoing. In fact, I can go ahead and announce this here as well. Because I want people to be aware of it. There is a company, I think it's Brian Grazer's production company, is doing a program called Impact Imagine, which has partnered with Netflix, and they're going to do 4 open submissions for like if you're an unsigned writer or an unsigned director and you have a project that you'd like to get in front of people at Netflix. This is an opportunity to submit your project. I should have. I'll probably when I get a chance. I think I posted a link to it on the co-op page in the co-op group. But I'll go ahead and I'll post another one probably sometime after this because I want people to be aware of this. I know that I've already submitted one myself for Legend of the Firebird, but they're doing 4 different genres. The first one is sort of like family action/adventure. I don't know what the other 3 genre categories are going to be. Those are yet to be announced. They're going to be staggered over the course of the summer. But you fill out an application, and you also have to put together a 30-second pitch type video to go along with it, that just to sort of like introduce yourself. So if anybody's got a project that they're interested in, trying to put in front of the people at Netflix, that's a new opportunity that everybody should be aware of. And you can go ahead and get your name in on that and try and be a part of that. I'm sorry. Do you have a?
Oh yeah, question about that.
Sure.
Are they looking for scripts, or are you essentially putting together a pitch and a production package, or?
They are looking for both. So the way that the application is structured, it's geared more towards writers than anything else. So they're basically looking for scripts. So if you've got a script, But you don't actually have to have a complete script. You can have a concept. You can have a. They're basically, it's a fishing expedition, so they're looking at anything. Obviously, if you've got a completed script, they're probably going to weight that more heavily than somebody who's just got an idea that's written out as a one-page treatment or something like that. There's a lot of personal questions on the application as well, so they're in addition to looking for a story, they're looking for a story for the creator as well, I think. In terms of, so that I imagine there's going to be some kind of behind the scenes element to this that they're going to use to promote it. So they're looking for feature film projects and also for television series ideas as well. So if you've got a TV series Bible, or if you've got a treatment for that, then you can submit that as well. If you've got a feature film script or an outline or treatment, or basically, if you've got something to put in front of them, theoretically they'll take a look at it. I think that the 30-second video that you have to submit with it is probably just something that is again, I'm not sure entirely what the purpose of it is because it's only 30 seconds, but I think they're looking to see if you can summarize your idea within 30 seconds and, in a palatable way, present yourself, just to get their attention. Because I imagine they're going to have a ton of entries on this. I do not envy the development department, people who are going to have to sift through all of these entries and whatnot. The application form is quite involved. It's got a lot of questions about what's your idea, what are the themes, how is it structured. It seems it felt like a university exam more than it did a grant application or anything like that. But anyway, it's still an interesting opportunity. Should be a fun. If anything, if nothing else, it's a fun excuse to sort of like take a look at whatever project you're working on and help refine it and whip it into shape for something that's presentable to people.
Right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks.
So those are really the announcements. We still have 3 projects on the co-op development slate. But as I said, because everything is on hold, it's not really worth going into those now. Again, I'm trying to find something we can do at a distance, but that hasn't happened yet. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to keep doing these monthly seminars and hope to maintain everybody's interest in the hope that when things finally do loosen up a bit, we will stand ready to jump back into things and we'll have made some new connections and learned something. And part of that is why we're having Trey in here today with the folks from Real Brothers. And I'm going to try and keep this pretty loose. Trey, I guess I'm going to turn this over to you. I have some prepared questions, if you don't mind answering those, and we can go through those. And then other than that, I just want to turn it over to you to let you talk a little bit about your experience with Real Brothers, what you're doing, and what your goals and ambitions are. If I could, I'll just go a step, and we'll just start with, like, what is Real Brothers? What is the goal and what is the mission for Real Brothers?
All right. Hey, thanks, Rob. Thanks for having us on. Like I said, my partners, Ondra Berry and B. Eric L. Jones, we all formed Real Brothers. We were all trying to do the same thing. So we were all here from DMV, and in essential, we just looked at everybody. There's a lot of people who's not really helping each other, or we just felt that the community wasn't supportive of each other. So I was happy to see the co-op start doing stuff like this. But we said, hey, we're going to try to get together and put all our talents together. Eric is a screenwriter. Ondra is a screenwriter. And we all do a little acting. I met Eric during improv. We used to do improv every month in Manassas and Unscripted. I met Ondra. We just happened to be talking on Facebook. And we became Facebook bros, and after that, we became Real Brothers. You know what I'm saying? So
awesome.
Pretty much, we're just trying to get DMV on the map. We're all, like I said, all talented writers. Ondra has a script right now. It's actually being looked at heavily by a lot of people, called Round One, and we started all working on that together. Where we have some actually listed stars that want to be a part of the movie, and we're working forward to that also. Right. We put together pilots. We have a ton of work that we could be doing. And like you, COVID kind of like slowed us down a little bit, but we've been finding other ways. We did a lot of table reads already. We've been doing, everybody's been still writing and keeping the talent flowing, and that's what we like to do with Real Brothers. Any of you guys want to chime in on that?
Yeah, like you said, Real Brothers came about with all of us having the same mindset of wanting to make the DMV area like the new Hollywood, so to speak. We have, the perfect scenery for movies. You think about a lot of movies have been shot in this area, but they'll do one part and then they have to fly to Hollywood to finish it up. So I think our ultimate dream, if you want to look at it, our ultimate dream is to just have a studio here where we can collaborate with a lot of talent. A lot of talent comes out of the DMV, but because it's known to be political, the political area, because of course the White House is down the street. Everybody goes to the West Coast to do everything. And I mean, you have Tyler Perry Studios down in Atlanta, which is 9 hours away. But why not have something here as a base, as a home for all this talent that we have here, that we can start creating some great content. And so we like-minded guys. We looked at each other's materials and we sat down over a few months. It didn't take long for us to, to realize that, hey, we got something good going on. Some of our ideas we were able to collaborate on, and then we just started moving forward. We started helping other people in their projects, and then we saw that we worked well. So we said, let's get something started. So we're currently working on a couple of pieces to talk about. But Drake, I'll turn it over to you now, brother.
Yeah, so I guess, our first major feature film, like Trey said, is Round One. And we were very fortunate, being a new film company, and we had stars attached to it. Vivica Fox was the first one to attach herself to it. We also had Quentin Aaron from the movie The Blind Side, and a couple other people, Noel G, he played in the Fast and Furious movies. And a couple other people are putting their name in the hat to, potentially be in the film. So we got very fortunate, had a lot of people kind of gravitate towards what we were doing. And, we hope to, get this thing out next year if we can. We're actually talking to some investors right now, and we'll see where it goes from there.
That's awesome. Eric, I want to just touch on something you said, that I really agree that this area has a lot of potential for filmmaking, in just, if nothing else, in terms of locations. I know that, like, just living in Fredericksburg the last 20 years, just going around this town, there's like so many places, and there's a lot of towns in the DMV like this, where, like, you go to like one end of town and this, hey, that's 1950s America. You go over here, and like you got a lot of places that can sub in for various periods in American history, going all the way back to colonial times, and just like in terms of like landscape, there's such beautiful landscape in this area as well. We live in a cinematic. We live in the cinematic area.
Yeah,
they should be shooting more films out here.
Yeah, right.
So
speaking of that,
yeah.
Before you jump to the next question, I was fortunate enough to shoot a pilot in this area, and the city of Manassas was very gracious down in Virginia to allow me to go throughout the city without formal permits, and then we would built a relationship to when they're having film festivals down there as well. So we do have a lot of support in the area. It's just, and so Real Brothers, we're trying to bring it all together, making those contacts come together so that we can have a place to call home.
Yeah, that's definitely the challenge, is to sort of to get all the elements in place and just make the connections. And that's one of the things we're doing here tonight. And I'm glad you guys are with us. Obviously, you three, Andre, Eric, and Trey, you guys are the principals for Real Brothers. What are your backgrounds? Where you guys come from? Where's your how do you get into film?
Andre, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go. So my background is actually in sports. I played about a year and a half of professional football, and after that, I had some friends tell me that do acting, modeling, just to kind of, I guess, stay relevant. And my first role I was offered, I don't know if you remember the show Necessary Roughness. It was a football show.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
So I got offered a role, and it actually got canceled the next month. So I prepped for the role, and but I knew that I wanted to get into film. Once I had kind of went through the process, and from there it was just kind of starting to write scripts. I've always loved to write, and my mom actually told me you should write. You should write. You used to write when you were younger, and I did. And I said, if I win any awards for this script, I'll keep writing. And I actually won an award for my first script, Diana. And from there, I just kept it moving, and had the opportunity to meet these guys here, and we're definitely making a push now.
So what about you, Eric?
Well, I've been acting in the acting world since I was a kid. Stage plays, and then as an adult, probably at 18, I started writing seriously, and I was doing gospel stage plays. So I had theater background. From there, I was doing comedy, improv comedy, stand-up comedy. I also do stand-up comedy as well, and got into a couple of music videos and different things like that. And when I was doing improv, I was approached by a producer to do my own sketch comedy show. And so, I wrote tons of sketches. We shot the pilot, and in Hollywood, you get a whole bunch of yeses, and then you get a whole bunch of hold-ons.
Yeah.
So then I started just taking it to social media, because in this day and age, people want you to have your own following. They don't make stars anymore. You have to be a star. You have to become a star.
Yeah.
So just from there, I just wanted to start writing TV pilots, and anytime I have an idea, just put it to work, and connected with these brothers, and I guess the rest is about to be history.
Yeah. And what about you, Trey? How do you come to filmmaking?
Oh man, I got my background was I'm a retired Army vet, and the last part of my tour, I was like, it's about getting down to where I like Major Payne. I got to get a job when I get out. Retirement wasn't really retirement. So during the course of my time in the military, I did a couple of plays and everything like that. And people said, hey, you can be really funny. You make us laugh. My soldiers like, hey, in the worst times, you make us laugh. So I started writing a little bit. And when I was in Savannah, I got with some members of SCAD. And I started doing background work on all their student films and stuff like that. I did some work on Vice Principals for HBO. Funny show with Danny McBride. I did the Megan Levy story, and I did a couple Sirens, that show on Netflix. So I started really getting a little bug, and when I moved up here, I was like, hey, let me see if I could take that talent and writing and bring it over to improv, and that's when I met Eric. We started doing improv, like I said, with Unscripted, and we had to mesh together. And I then joined VME, it's Veterans in Media and Entertainment. It's a group that they have a West Coast chapter, the Washington, D.C. chapter, the New York chapter, where there's like 4,000 veterans, and we all try to help each other out, tell each other about stories. Gary Sinus and all the former service members that are now doing movies, they all trying to help in and help everybody else. And I wrote actually a screenplay, and I got accepted to go to Lionsgate, and I got a chance to pitch their CEO. And he was like, oh, this is very good, but not for us. And, I was happy to be out there in California real quick, and then they sent me back, but I got a learning experience how to actually pitch in front of people. Like, made it to the final 12, and they only picked one person out of that, so I felt pretty good. And I decided to keep on writing and acting and started doing all the stuff these guys. The rest is, like Eric said, the rest is history.
Awesome. Very awesome. So the next question is So is Real Brothers a relatively new thing? Have you guys produced anything together in the past yet, or is this your first project? Is going to be the current one? That's, I'm sorry, what was the name of it, Andre? It was
Round One.
Round One. So, appropriate title then. So if that's so is that this is basically that's your first project?
It's going to be our first
feature.
Yeah, first
feature.
It's your first major development thing, I guess.
Major feature. Yeah, we're right now. We because of COVID, we've been shooting a short film written by Trey called The Forgotten, and then we also collaborated on another project with another gentleman that's soon to be released. So we've worked together on other projects, and then we're working together on the Real Brother with The Forgotten. But Round One will be the first major feature that we're going to do together.
Tell me a little bit about the Forgotten. How did that? What is it, and how did that come together? If you guys want to, plug it a little bit and tell us about it.
Well, we said we wanted to create a lot of content. We have time, and we were like, hey, this year we're going to come through the door. So we were like, hey, I said, I have this script that I've been writing called The Forgotten. It's about child sex trafficking. And we wanted to bring light upon sex trafficking and how bad it is. So we sat down, we casted for it. We got a list of actors out here that do a phenomenal job. We started, when was it? Actually, we started when we got the go-ahead from COVID, because we all went ahead and got certified, got our international COVID or whatever. So we kept a small cast to see how it worked for the first shooting. And we started shooting the first scenes of Forgotten, which, it's dramatic. I think everybody will like it. It actually has a twist in it. It's going to be about 20 minutes long, but it's definitely worth it. And it's definitely going to capture everything with the whole trafficking thing.
So, how do you guys get resources together for your projects? In terms of how do you put together your camera department, do your casting? Because I know that I have, I personally I've had some difficulty with getting casting done, especially because when we're operating down here in Fredericksburg, because it's we're just outside the radius for DC, just by a hair. So it's you get some people who are willing to come out here from DC, other people are not. We're lucky to have a really strong community theater scene down here in Fredericksburg, which is really awesome. But so how are you guys in terms of do your casting and whatnot? Do you guys use backstage? Do you have you going working with casting directors, and how you put your crews together, and just tell us a little bit about sort of how you pull it together.
Okay, with cast, what we've done is just pull from the resources that we already have, friends and fellow actors that we've done projects with, and those that we seen talent, some of the talent that's here that we've seen. So that's kind of how we've been able to do that. It's again, like you said, it's a lot of people in this area who had experiences just looking for work. So just reach out to them via social media and do video auditions. They'll usually submit a script to them and say, hey, send a quick video audition of the character, and go from there. As far as Trey, you want to touch on the crew?
Reference crew is the same thing. It's we know somebody that knows somebody. We know Chris Mercutio, and Chris worked with us on a couple projects before. We did a fan film called Chapel. We released a couple cuts from that, and from Chris actually trained one of our persons that we had, Carolyn James, how to do sound. So automatically she became a sound person because she worked so much with us. So now she's our go-to sound. Hey, what you doing, Carolyn? She's like, we're good to go. I'm here. And same thing with everybody else. Lighting, we do some up. We're just jacks of all trades. Guess what? We need a lighting guy. Eric, guess what? You're on lights today. Andre did PA today. Hey, I'm doing. We all pull those roles in there. Craft services. I'm Mr. Craft Services.
There you go.
I have some donuts on set.
It's important. It's important to do that, to have the craft services. It's everybody. You got to have, especially on short films, especially when people are working for free. You got to feed them.
That's right.
You got to feed them.
We also pull on our family members. I have 4 teenage sons, and I'll call them. 2 of them have expressed interest in filmmaking, so they've been on set as well. We're trying to build up an intern program to teach some of the young kids that's in the area, about filmmaking. So that's one thing that we're really trying to concentrate on, bringing up the next generation for filmmaking.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And we also we just started there's a female development section also.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we just started that, and Loretta just took over that. And Loretta is a ball of fire. And
Yes.
And to say the least. And she's working out there with the Sparks right now.
Sparks, yeah, she works with the Sparks. She
WNBA.
used to do stuff with the Lakers. I mean, she's been really everywhere. She's got a lot of connections, and she's gonna be running that division.
Yeah. So
tell us more about that division, just for everybody else.
Andre.
Yeah. So that division, we just kind of, as a group came together, and we wanted to make a voice for everybody. Obviously we have the intern program where we want to bring youth in, who are interested. And so same thing, with women. I know there's some super talented, filmmakers who are women, and they don't often get heard. There's a lot of good stories. And so we wanted to kind of give them a platform, especially, with what we're doing. We wanted to, make that happen. And, Loretta had expressed interest to me that she wanted to get into filmmaking. And from there, once we kind of put the idea out there, there were other, filmmakers who were like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. So we think that, we really got something special. It's called Pretty Dreams. And they actually have a couple things that they want to work on. And, I definitely think everybody's going to be impressed when they see what they can do.
Definitely.
That's fantastic. Trey, I just wanted to touch on, you mentioned Chris Mercurio a little while ago. He's a really cool guy. He's worked with us at the co-op before too. We really appreciate him, but I haven't seen him since the original lockdown. I mean, I don't even know if he's alive right now because I haven't heard from him much.
His day job and everything keeps him moving about, and then I think he's been helping our families here and there. So he's been caught up, but Chris is a great guy. If you look back, I think there's a picture, Andre, where I got on Chris' nerves so bad he's in the chair like
this. Yeah, he's in the chair.
Him like this. And this is a classic picture expressing Chris out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a good guy. He's a real go hard. He tries as a camera guy, he tries every angle and has a lot of talk.
Well, we hope to get him back soon.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. I have a couple other sort of general questions. Like what's been your most difficult or most challenging project or aspect of a project so far?
I think schedules. Everybody, it's like herding cattle, trying to get everybody there. All right, what's your schedule like today? It's like our calendar is packed. So we look at each other's schedule. Then we got to look at the actor's schedule. Then we're like, oh, I guess we do need a cameraman today. So we got to look at the people that could play cameraman today and then location. Hey, can we get that location at this time? Well, how much time do we have? And then like Andre, the other take we just took, Andre had to work in a few hours. So he stayed up all day, worked, did some filming with us, and then went to work. And it was like, okay, we've done that a couple times, all of us. So crazy.
For sure, scheduling is just the toughest, man. It is because we all work full-time jobs until we can do this full-time.
Yes.
So it's just a juggling act of a dream. And then when you get on set, it's all fun and you don't want to leave. It's like you realize this is what I want to do. So I think once you're on set, it's nothing that's really hard that I can think of. Because the writing comes easy for us. Throwing out the ideas, and even if one of us get locked up, I was writing a romantic comedy, and I was Trey and I were meeting, and I was throwing some. He was just throwing some ideas that would just help motivating me to write. Add this element. What about this element? So those things come, fairly easy. It's just like you said. I would say scheduling and making sure that it's a complete project. That's one thing you want to. You start projects, you better finish them.
Yeah.
Incompletes out there.
Yeah, I know. We got one incomplete hanging over our head right now, and it's just driving me nuts. So, if it's okay, can you tell us a little bit about round one? I mean, what is it, and how did it come about, and how did you guys get it to the point where it's at?
Yeah. So, so round one. Honestly, it started off as a project just to work on my writing. I wanted to work on a subject that, I didn't really know a lot about. I had to research, do some work. I wrote a football script before that, and it was very easy for me. So I wanted to challenge myself. And so it wasn't meant to be like an actual script. It was just kind of to see, where my writing was. And from there, I got interested in it. And so I started, developing it a little bit more, taking stories from, some athletes that I know and kind of just push them together. But, I really I didn't want to have the typical boxy film that everybody over and over again. I wanted to have something that everybody could relate to. And this is really something where, a second chance comes off of an unfortunate situation, and kind of, I guess, reminding people that sometimes you have to do something you don't want to do before you can do the thing that you want. So really making those tough decisions, definitely, not a Hollywood story where the underdog, he's going to take over the world, nothing like that. So I just, like I said, I really wanted something to not only be realistic, but I wanted people to be able to relate to it and, fall in love with the characters, even down to the bad guy. I wanted people to fall in love with him, some people even to root for him. And I think we've accomplished that with this. And like I said, I know I'm biased, but I definitely feel like this is something that some people are really going to enjoy. And, I'm excited, especially, being with these fellas doing this. It's, like I said, it's a dream come true to make this happen.
So obviously this project starts with Ondra's script. And then, was this the kind of thing where you were shopping the idea around while the script was still being developed, or did you wait for the script and then you started bringing it around to people?
Yeah. So I actually kind of started shopping it around. I was really nervous about it. I was, I'd give it to people to, read, and they would kind of give me feedback. It really wasn't until, like I said, when Trey came on, I believe it was after I'd gotten an invite to the HBO theater in New York for a script. And I started talking to some people. And one of the things that I was told was you need to get a team around you. Obviously, you think about your work a certain way, but you need a team to kind of keep you on track or give you new ideas, let you know if, you're not hitting the mark. And that's really what happened. And so, Trey came on and started kind of giving me some ideas. We brought on another gentleman, Boyd Melson, who was actually deployed at the time. And he was helping me with the boxing portion, because he used to be a professional boxer. And it wasn't until, when Eric came on, we all kind of came together and really, made it what it is. With different ideas, concepts, or, maybe you should do this. So yeah, like I said, it's kind of just been building up to this point, and, we definitely made something special out of it.
So how did you get it in front of the, like you see, you got some people who are interested, some stars attached to the project, at least tentatively.
Yeah.
How did you get it in front of them?
So it's really crazy story. I got a call from a production company in New Mexico, and they said, we see you pushing all this information about this boxing film. We love boxing, and we think you should come down. And, I flew out. They put me up in a hotel and everything. And, pitched it to them. And apparently they bigger than what I was. So I told them, like, no, this is just me doing this. And, I'm just trying to get it out there. Didn't get a call back when I got home. And I actually was deleting the script. And I was just dragging it to the trash. And I got a call from a director, Eric Martinez. And he says, hey, I heard you have a boxing script. And, I really want you to pitch it to me. I'm interested. And, I didn't want to do it, but I ended up calling him anyway. And I pitched it to him. And he said, like, that sounds fantastic. And from there, he believed in it so much that he called all of his friends. Vivica Fox was his friend, Quentin Aaron, Noel G., all of them. And he pitched it to them, and they said as well, this is phenomenal. Like, we'll attach our names to it. So again, like I said, it was very fortunate, because obviously if you don't have a budget, nobody's going to attach their name to anything.
Right. Yeah.
So, even when we go to investors, they look at us like we're crazy because we don't have a budget yet, and we got these stars. So super fortunate, and it's definitely worked in our favor, as far as pushing this project.
Okay, that's great. So is this? And I'm sorry, the director. Did you say Martinez? What was his name?
Eric Martinez.
Eric Martinez. So is he basically attached to direct it, or is this something that you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he would absolutely direct it. So.
You might have seen him in Better Call Saul.
Yeah. Better Call Saul.
Yeah. All right, that's awesome. Does this in terms of like has he structured a deal with you guys yet, or is this still something that's very much in a talking stage and people sort of like
Yeah, no, he's like I said, he's structured, a deal with us. He's gotten a budget for us, put together our pitch deck for investors,
Oh, that's
and
great.
kind of coaches us as far as different things. He's gotten us, what the incentives are for the different states. So he's pretty much set us up, pretty nice moving forward. So we haven't had to do really any of the hard lifting aside from having to, obviously pitch the script.
And
Well,
write it.
when you got a good story, that can take you a long way.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely. So what is obviously round one is where things are going to begin. Do you guys have any idea what happens after that, or how things proceed from here?
Oh, man, we have a lot.
Yeah.
I would say, especially since COVID kicked in, we
Oh,
stay
yeah.
writing, we stay bouncing off. So
Right.
we just slated. We thought about it, and we just slating one called Necropolis. It's another film that Andre spearheaded, and it's going to be the first zombie flick here in DMV.
Nice.
It's going to be ridiculous. We've got the location set. We're going to get some more funding for that, but this is definitely going to happen.
For sure. We have tons of TV show pilots and ideas that we're going to shoot to pitch. So we're sitting on scripts, man.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just waiting for that the ball to start rolling, and we'll just go ahead with the momentum. So you have to prepare for success. So
Yep.
it's putting that work in while you're not doing anything. It's writing those scripts. I know I struggled with that in the beginning with just producing stuff, because I'm like, why am I producing something and it's not going to get done? Why am I writing and it's nothing, But as Dre said, round one was a challenge to him just to get his skills. And you never know what project or what writing, what script is going to get you that breakthrough or had that door open for you. So it's just about preparing.
Yeah.
So if people want to find out more about what you guys are up to, where should they be looking? How can they get in contact with you if they want to talk to you about what you're doing?
They can find us we're on IG and the Real Brothers, REEL Brothers _ and on IG. We also have our new webpage. Andre set it up. Real Brothers there too. We're also on Facebook and the Real Brothers. You can't help but find us.
That's awesome. So in terms of how you guys see your production slate going forward, do you see yourselves doing, obviously round one as a feature that's going to have a lot of your attention right now, but you said you're working on the short film, which is the Forgotten. Thank you. So are you looking to do more short films in the future as well, like in between features, or are you going to be focused on like developing more feature ideas?
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna be doing short film. Matter of fact, I pitched an idea to them the other day of a short film that we can do that's kind of dealing with different things that are going on currently. Mm-hmm. So we have that, feature films. We're just gonna be producing. So using the short films to help with the interns, getting them prepared as well for the film industry, and just to keep ourselves creating content. Content is king, so
yeah,
we want to continue to create content.
And what are your plans for managing things in pandemic times in terms of set safety and things like that? Because I know that's something that's been on my mind a lot. I'm definitely looking for other people's ideas on this. I've gotten people talking to me about keeping the crew and the talent separate. Everybody's wearing masks and using taking temperatures as people come on the set and whatnot. But I mean, if you guys have anything, any particular approach that you have to that, I'd love to hear about it, because honestly, we're still trying to figure that out.
Trey, you have the standard that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dre.
No, I was just gonna say, we obviously all wanted to make sure that we, kind of had a system in place. So we actually got certified. They have a certification for set safety. So we all took the course, as well as we have guidelines, industry standards. I know Lionsgate, as well as a lot of other companies, have these guidelines that you have to go by. So we have that up on our site. So any actors or crew members that come by, obviously need to read that, and we follow that. Wear masks on set. We try to keep everybody separated. If you're not needed on set, you don't need to be there. No extra personnel. So yeah, I mean, we really just taking every precaution we can, and and so far, like I said, it's worked good.
And hand sanitizer.
Yeah, I'm about to say sanitizer. Yeah. We have a guy, I'm not going to reveal his name, Trey, who runs around with hand sanitizer in the middle of our set. So we've already had 2 shoots in the midst of COVID that we were able to accomplish, and both of those we practiced safety again with the mask and as well as sanitizing. So we've already tested the so to speak, and we came out without any
temperature checks 24 hours prior. Plus, on the set, you gotta get your temperature checked.
That was work on The Forgotten.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we make sure.
What do you guys do for post? Do you edit yourselves, or do you have your editors that you work with?
Yeah, we have some editors that we work with, and we have a gentleman we're trying to get on our team who is a professional editor for TV One. So we have different people that we're reaching out to. I know a couple of guys that we can get to editing.
If not, we tie them up and we put them in the trunk and we make them. By any means necessary, right?
You're not supposed to tell our secret now.
So Trey's ex-military, and I know that I think Ondra, you said you were ex-military as well. Like, do you all guys know each other from the service, or like you all like?
Yeah, no, I'm not in the military.
Oh, okay.
All my family is.
Okay,
I have a sports background.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no. Well, Trey is the connecting tree for us, for Dre and I. Again, I met Trey through improv, and he met Andre via Facebook, and then introduced us on set. And then we started to just collaborate from there, man. It was instant chemistry, I guess is what you would say. We just started vibing off of one another very well. I call Trey Papa Bear, man. He you know what I'm saying? He keeps everybody in line, and he's big brother, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
I see.
When we met, the theme from The Lion King, I guess we're supposed to be family now. All right?
Say hello to Rick, who just joined us. Rick, thanks for dropping down. I hope you weren't waiting in the lobby too long. I was caught up in the conversation. I don't know if I saw you come in.
No, thanks for letting me in. Sorry, I'm chiming in late. Some things came up at the last minute.
No worries. Everybody's got a lot going on right now. So I want to go ahead and I want to throw this open to the other folks that are here. If anybody has any questions for Real Brothers, if you guys have any questions about process or about history or anything like that, or background, or anything at all, just go ahead and let us know. Raise a hand or just chime in. No? Okay, I guess no questions at the moment.
No questions.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about right now? Because I mean, like I told Trey that this, like, you guys can come. This was basically just an open forum. Obviously there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, and we're trying to. Who's got the beeping? What is that? Rick, is that at your end?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna mute myself. Sorry.
Okay, it was like, where's that coming from? Obviously there's a lot of stuff going down in the world right now, which is again is another one of the reasons I reached out to Trey, just because I know I don't have much of a forum here, but I wanted to give that to you guys, just to say whatever it is you want to say. If you don't, if there's anything you want to say, go ahead and say it. Otherwise, this is your time, guys.
I just want to say thank you for having us. And two, it's just like there's a lot of talent, like Eric and Andre said, there's a lot of talent out here, and we wanted to capitalize. One of the things we want to do is get in with Manassas and the One Love Film Festival was coming up, and we at the time Rachel was in charge of the community events, and she was going to actually let us come on board and put a film festival onto that. That's why I was reaching out to you and everybody else and say, hey, let's bring Manassas on the map in film, and we can do a lot of stuff. And it was going well, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
COVID happened.
Yeah.
So
Well, if that starts back up again, stay in touch, because the co-op, we've got films that we can put in a festival, and I'm always happy to talk about my experiences as well, and talk about production. I can go on. I can talk for hours about production. This is not the time for me to be talking right now, but I can talk for hours about production if given the chance, and have a good time that way. Let's see. What are you? Okay, so let's just have a couple of fun questions right now. Like, what are you guys' influences? What do you like? So, in terms of like your film influences, your story influences, what made you guys inspired to get into film? What are the films that you saw that made you want to make films?
Oh, I would love to answer that. One of my favorite films is The Dark Knight. All right, so I'll take it back to Batman Begins, but The Dark Knight really, from the cinematography to the storytelling, I think it was just a creative way of telling a story. So that kind of inspired me to kind of go to the next level with my writing. Again, I was prior to writing stage plays, so to go from stage plays, I actually wrote a musical as well. And then writing film or television, it was a transition that I had to take where characters aren't as dramatic as it is in a theater production. So now you have to create more realistic dialogue, more realistic feel and storytelling. So whenever I watch a movie, ever since I've learned the story circle, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the story circle when writing. I'm always watching it from a writer's perspective. And my wife is like, "Be quiet, stop ruining the movie for me." I'm like, "Yeah, but look at this. This is how they're going to approach it this time." So my kids say, "Dad, how you know the ending of this story? You haven't even seen it yet." I was like, "It's just a writer's mind." Mm-hmm. So for me, I concentrate on story. Storytelling for me is first, and then all the cinematography comes in for that. Because if you have a great story, somebody will sit there and watch it, even if your picture isn't too good, So,
well, there's an audience for everything, they say.
It really is. It really is. I mean, if you go on YouTube, you can see there's a lot of content out there with a lot of views, and I'm looking at it like, why are we watching somebody chew into a microphone? But people like that. So.
I just got the message from Trey that Andre's got to drop off for work. Andre, thanks so much for coming by, man.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely.
You.
I hope we get a chance to talk again soon.
Definitely.
All right, awesome. Trey, what about you? What's your background in terms of the films that inspired you coming up?
I think the first film was when I was a kid. I'm kind of old school, so The Warriors. That is like my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
And Eric will say I quote things from it all the time. And it's just like, I was like, after Warriors over, I'm like, whatever happened to the Warriors? Okay, they made the Coney Island. Like, I just wanted to always expound upon that. And I, me and my friends, we'd run through the neighborhood and Warriors and all that stuff. So, I started finding a passion for film. And, I just found something in every film that I liked. And I'm always critiquing it, especially being a military guy. I critique every shootout. I'm counting bullets, like 1, 2, that's 6 bullets, nothing left. Somebody doesn't need to reload. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You can't watch a cop movie or a military movie with me because I'll ruin it every day.
I was talking with my kids about this the other day, about the idea of there's things that are normal in the movies but not normal in real life, like the sound that guns make in films is completely different from the sound of a gun in real life. Just the way that the way the telephones, just everything sounds different in the movies, but we take it as its own kind of hyper reality kind of thing. So, Anyway, it looks like we're winding down now, guys. Again, thanks everybody for coming. Thanks to Trey and Eric and Andre for coming and telling us about Real Brothers and what's going on. If anybody else has projects that they want to talk about, that they want to promote, if anybody else has just topics that they want to cover, just get in touch with me. My DMs are open all the time. And, I want to try and get more people in here, to talk about what they're doing just so that we can keep everybody's enthusiasm up. We can keep everybody jazzed about projects and getting back to work eventually and getting back on the horse. Let's see, if anybody has any announcements or anything that they want to say before we close up.
I would say before we close too, if there anyone here who may be interested in acting, and we're always looking for actors, we're always looking for some talent, and we're really into promoting those in the DMV area.
Right.
So
woohoo!
Yeah. So
Margot's done a lot with the co-op, and
awesome.
She's
reach out to Real Brothers then. Reach out to Real Brothers because we're trying to work with a diverse cast of everybody. So we're looking for, there's always a role for somebody out here.
Awesome.
And so that's what we're looking to do in the DMV area. Just have all of the talent to shine. So check us out.
All right. Fantastic. Folks, thank you so much for coming. I'm just going to leave the call open for a little while. If anybody has anything else they want to say about any other topic, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop the recording now. Thanks, everybody, for coming, and look forward to seeing you at the next co-op seminar, I hope, which will be in about a month. I've got a lineup. I think I was talking to Brandon Carr about giving a presentation about editing. We'll find out if I can corral him into that, but we'll have something lined up for next month. Thanks so much, guys, and the recording stops.